talk about the Iraqi Dinar. We had some other people call about it. One person called yesterday and indicated, I think it was a woman, wasn't it, Devin, that indicated it was, yeah. So who called and said it's there are many people that are traveling around. I don't know where she was from. Do you know, Devin? Okay. I think she, wherever she was from, apparently there's someone, some people going around in the churches and talking to folks in churches, I guess having meetings or get-togethers and indicating how biblical it is and you ought to invest in this and all of those kinds of things. Listen, folks, it's not the end of the world if you put $300 or $400 into it, because I think it's some ridiculous thing like $300 or $400 is going to make you $1 million or something. But there are people getting a second mortgage on their home to buy these things, to buy this currency. It's an untraded currency. It's an unrecognized currency. Let me just tell you frankly, I believe it's a scam. I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibility, but it's certainly extremely unlikely that anybody's going to make any money off of this, to speak of. Here's the deal. The currency in Iraq is going to change at some point in time when and if they ever get a stabilized government. They may or may not have a need to change their currency over in the sense of revaluing their currency. So they may take their one current Iraqi dollar and revalue it. The talking points or the sales point is that you can buy a Iraqi dinar for, I'm making this number up because I'm not sure what it is, for 2 cents of American money. When they revalue, they will trade in, they will ask you to surrender or turn in your old currency, Iraqi dinar, for a new one, a new currency. And it's going to be a one-for-one exchange. The difference is the new dollar is going to be worth $1 of U.S. currency or something close to that. Now, if they do that, they were to do that, their currency will immediately be rated junk. It will be in the junk category. It will have very little sovereign wealth. It will have no confidence in the world markets. It will likely still be unacceptable on the currency exchanges as it is now. And they frankly do not have enough full faith and credit and will not, under a new regime or a stabilized government, to be able to make an exchange like that. It will be almost impossible. If they do it, they'll have an exchange where they might say, if you give us 90 of the old dollars, we'll give you 1 of the new dollars. It's the only way they're going to be able to do it. It's like a reverse split in a stock. The idea that this government, though the argument is, well, they're oil rich. I understand that. It doesn't matter how oil rich you are. You have to have enough oil and enough GDP growth for a sovereign nation to be able to have a credit rating on their full faith and credit, since that's ultimately all they have to back it up, to be able to place some value on this new currency. It isn't going to happen. It is so remotely possible that it's almost impossible. It is not going to happen. So I know when they throw these charts up on the screen and they describe the millions of dollars you're going to make, it is extremely, I'm not going to say it's impossible, it is extremely unlikely that it's going to happen. And if it were to happen. I know they've told you where they're going to mail it to you and you're going to be able to exchange it and they're going to tell you where to exchange it and all those kinds of things. You better be able to do it within about 5 minutes of the time that they announce the new value of the new dinar. And I'm not being facetious when I say 5 minutes. I'm serious. I mean, you better be able to react that quickly. So if you hear about it while you're driving down some remote highway, you've just lost millions of dollars. So, and I know that sounds ridiculous, but that's probably if. Now, I don't believe that it's going to be even initially coming out and issuing a one-for-one trade. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it were, you better move quick. Because as quickly as that gets done, it's going to be immediately, if it has any credit rating to begin with, it is immediately going to be rated pretty much nothing. So that's the scenario. The idea that it's biblical because a dinara is mentioned in the Bible is saying that we are all robbing ourselves of good health because we're not using spelt in everything that we eat instead of wheat. There was both in biblical times, but they speak in wonderful terms about spelt. Now, that was the grain of choice in that day, and obviously, during biblical times, there was no mention of a U.S. dollar, or there was no mention of whatever the name of the currency was in Babylon, other than probably mentioned in a negative way. So I'm not sure the theology behind the biblical basis for it. Somebody is welcome to email me and enlighten me on that. But that's where I am with it. And for all of you who own it, I hope I'm wrong. I truly do. I hope I'm wrong. And if I am wrong, I'll be very sorry that I didn't join you and buy a whole bunch of it. But that there's a whole lot of investments like that I'm very sorry that I didn't do. So this will just be another one. But anyway, that's my take on it. And, and you can't track it, by the way. It doesn't list on any currency exchanges. It doesn't have